So Democrats just introduced a bill which targets firearms and ammunition advertising in a way that violates the Second Amendment, but also violates the First Amendment. Let's talk about this. But real quick before we jump into this video, if you believe in your First Amendment and Second Amendment rights, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I also want to give a shout out to one of the main sponsors of the channel, and that is Got Your Six. For just $2.99 a month, you get access to a lot of amazing things on their app. This includes up-to-date local, state, and national legislative information, and you have the ability to create small and large groups on the app. One of the neat features they have is this button called Initiate Freedom, and if you ever find your Second Amendment rights violated through something like red flag laws, you can click this button and what is an Amber Alert for firearms owners goes out to those individuals in your group. So it's a really neat app, and if you'd be interested, I'll go ahead and put links down to them in the details section. So Democrats just introduced this bill, like I mentioned, which is targeting not only First Amendment rights, but also Second Amendment rights. And of course, this bill being S4718 was introduced by none other than Dianne Feinstein in all of her infinite wisdom. And I'll put links to the bill down in the details section if you want to take a look at it for yourself. But it's essentially an amendment to some prior existing language. And what it does is it modifies the current language in 18 U.S.C. section 922A, specifically paragraph 9. And so let's take a look at what that says. Essentially, it makes it illegal for any person other than a licensed importer, licensed manufacturer, licensed dealer, or licensed collector who does not reside in any state to receive any firearm unless such receipt is for lawful sporting purposes. So that's the end of what the language currently is. What this does is it removes that period part and then adds on to that. And so what it adds on to that is, then it says it's going to say and then what it says is for any person, A, to import, manufacture, or sell a firearm or ammunition by means of false or fraudulent pretense, representing, or promises, and to transmit or cause to be transmitted by means of wire, radio, or television communication in interstate or foreign commerce, any communication relating to the importation, manufacture, or sale described in subparagraph A. So it's reverting back to the subparagraph A that came before of it, and it's talking about false or fraudulent pretenses. Now, they don't identify what false or fraudulent pretenses is, and why is that? Because essentially what they're probably going to try to do, and I'm sure you can guess what Dianne Feinstein and the Democrats' whole agenda is that they're going to consider any type of advertising relating to ammunition or firearm sales to be purely false or misleading or false or misrepresenting. Democrats in Congress are going to consider false or fraudulent is going to be any type of communication. Any communication or advertising about ammunition or firearm sales, they're just going to say is false, fraudulent, misleading, and therefore ban those types of advertisements. So this is essentially a target on all types of advertising about anything firearms related, being firearms or ammunition. So they are targeting that type of advertisement. So this is not just an attack on the Second Amendment and companies' Second Amendment rights, but this is also a really crazy attack on a company's First Amendment speech and First Amendment speech at large. This is a bill which goes after not only the First Amendment, but also the Second Amendment. The Democrats here, through S4718, are going after the first two of our fundamental rights here in the US. Now, this bill is not going to get passed in the limited amount of time that we have remaining for the Congress right now, but of course, if Biden gets put in place or if the Senate flips, and a lot of people are saying there's potential that Biden will get in and also maybe the Senate will flip, you could very much see this language being copied and pasted to another bill, which we've seen happen all the time, and then gets reintroduced, and who knows what's going to happen. Biden and that administration has already said that they're going to try to target the Second Amendment firearms if he gets in office. That's been one of his very important and critical foundational things he's been running on. So if Biden is in office, if the Senate flips, you're probably going to see this come about in another form. So I just want to get this information out to you guys because it's really interesting, and it's an interesting tack not just on the Second Amendment, which we talk about a lot here on this channel, but also it's an interesting attack on First Amendment rights as well by limiting the type of advertising that a company can do. So if you have any questions, go ahead and comment down below and I'll try to answer the best of my ability. Also, just like, comment, and subscribing, and make sure you hit that notification bell because it helps your channel analytics, helps us spread the word about the Second Amendment, also helps spread the word about things like this that are going on in the US. So as always, thanks you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and never forget this nation was built by armed scholars, and this nation will be maintained by armed scholars.